Well, hey y'all, have you ever heard that saying, groceries are getting as high as a cat's back? Well, if y'all been to the grocery store, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so the other day, I have not had minute steak fingers or cube steak fingers, which I like them both equally, in forever. And so I go to the grocery store thinking that's what we're gonna have. I get to the grocery store, they have neither. They had some round steak, which you can make it with round steak and a knife, it's no big deal. But the ribeye steaks were, honest to Pete, this thick and $15 a piece. The round steak was not much better. So I thought, let's go see what old Porky Pig's got going. A half a pork loin, this whole thing right here, which is 4.22 pounds, was $9.66. So I picked one up and I'm tickled pink because you can get at least 10 pork chops out of this if you wanted to. But I am going to turn this into pork fingers, which sounds weird. We need to come up with another name. So let me just show you what I'm going to do. And for easy cleanup, I don't have to leave y'all, put on my gloves. So take a sharp knife, and I like to use a thin knife. And if you can pick yourself up one of these Rata knife sharpeners, these are the easiest thing. You just run your knife through it several times, easy peasy, and it's much better. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, this pork loin, you know, it's got some fat on one side, and I'm not gonna cook this entire thing in these pork finger style, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the whole thing cleaned up. And I'll fast forward through a lot of that because y'all don't wanna watch that, it's like watching paint dry. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my knife, and if you hold it at a bit of an angle, you can take the fat off, easy peasy, and not get down into the meat. Let's just do this like this. I was so surprised whenever the prices, I guess I just hadn't looked at meat because we eat a lot of the deer meat that's in our freezer, and I just really hadn't paid much attention. And the other day I thought, well, I think I'll just do us some mini steak fingers, and boy, was I shocked. So, we eat a lot more pork around here than we do beef anyway, and deer meat. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up, and I'll see you back whenever we are ready to cut it into fingers. I'll show you what we're gonna do then. Okay, this is looking pretty good to me. Now what I'm gonna do, we're gonna have these as fingers today for dinner. So I'm gonna cut that's about 4 inches there. Get that cut good, and I'm gonna do the rest the same way. I'll do this off camera, but we're gonna have this in another manner because I'm excited. There is a recipe in my cookbook that I've used shrimp, but I'm gonna alternate shrimp because right now, shrimp is high as a cat's back. So I'm gonna use pork. So to make our fingers today, it was running this way, so I'm just gonna cut about an inch. Now you could, at this point, take this, batter it, fry it, and use it as pork chop. Yum, yum, yum. Just gonna cut these all into, and whenever I was in college, I went to ASU in Jonesboro. I actually have a degree in ag business and economics, and one of the classes I had to take was some animal science classes. So we took meat and meat cutting, and that was so interesting. I absolutely loved it. We processed lamb and cows and pigs and not chickens, but everything that walks around like that. It was great fun. Okay, so now I have this pork chop like this, and I'm just going to cut it into whatever size fingers you want. Now, if you're feeding a lot of people at a ball game and you want to have more little nuggets, that is exactly what you should do. But for us today, this is going to work. And I bet these will be wonderful warmed up in the air fryer. So it's not going to bother me if I make too many. Absolutely not. Let me get the rest of these cut up. And I've just got some full fat buttermilk, and I'm gonna put that in my Ziploc bag, and I'm gonna let these soak in the ice box, which a lot of you good people call the refrigerator because you're more modern than I am. And I'm just gonna let these soak for An hour would be better, but I'm gonna need to look at the clock. I don't have an hour. I'm gonna let them soak for probably 20 minutes or so. Okay, am I happy with all those sizes? I think I am. Okay, I'm just gonna put these in my Ziploc bag and get rid of these gloves for now. I'll deal with this off camera. So, I've got my buttermilk here, and now I'm not going to use a whole bunch because I don't want to waste buttermilk. But I've got it in my bag, and I'm just going to drizzle enough in there until I think it looks like enough to cover everything. And this will just, of course, this is really tender meat, but this will really help it to really be tender, and it'll also give the flour and egg something to adhere to too. Okay, so does that look like that's enough buttermilk? Yes, I think that looks like enough buttermilk. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator, and I'm gonna clean my mess up. I'll see you good people here in just a minute because we're gonna let this soak, but while we're doing it, we're gonna make the yummy sauce that we're gonna dip this in. So I'll see you back here in just a second. Well, let's make this dipping sauce that is gonna be divine. You can use equal parts mayonnaise, and I'm gonna use I'm gonna go ahead and measure this out for y'all. I'm gonna use a half a cup of mayonnaise. Use your favorite. I grew up in a Miracle Whip house, and if that's what you like, that's what you use. Just gonna get this about a half a cup of some good old mayonnaise in there. I do recommend, whatever you're doing, use good quality mayonnaise if you can, and it'll be delightful. Okay, so the barbecue sauce that I'm gonna add equal parts is from Burton Brambles, and they're in Georgia, and then they are fruit farmers, first generation fruit farmers, precious people, Natalie and Frank and their beautiful 2 children. And this is a blackberry barbecue sauce. Hang on a minute, I'm gonna tell y'all what it tastes like. Hang on. Okay, so put the flavor of barbecue sauce in your brain. Now, add a brightness that the blackberry brings, but it doesn't taste like, you taste it and think, I think that tastes like way too much blackberry. It's perfect. It's got a little vinegar, it's got the brightness from the blackberry, and it's got a little bit of heat that you feel just right here. Not a lot, it's not that spicy, but it's just got a little bit of heat, which I love. So we're just gonna put this in there. And whenever I usually make this, in my second cookbook, I call this spicy drizzle. The other barbecue sauce that I've been using did not have just a touch of heat. And so I would always add a pop of sriracha. And so I'm just gonna taste this and see if I think it needs that. I'm gonna put just a pinch of my barbecue rub in there, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna also put this in some of the flour that we're gonna roll our pork fingers around in. Pork fingers, pigs don't even have fingers, y'all know what we're talking about. Okay, now let's use the other end of our popsicle stick and see what we think. That doesn't need another thing. Yum. Okay, I'm gonna go check on our pork that is in the buttermilk, and I'm gonna put the rest of the stuff up. Put this in the ice box till we get ready to eat. I'll see you back here in just a minute. All right, I've got some peanut oil in my fancy pot, as Carol calls it, and this is a great way to use up any kind of gluten-free flours or any flour that you like. You don't have to use gluten-free, y'all. You can use anything you want. And I've got a bag of some white rice flour, Bob's Red Mill, and I'm just gonna put the whole thing in this pie plate. And then I'm gonna eyeball it and see if I think I need any more. And I think that may be okay. So we're gonna save this just in case. Now I'm gonna add to this, I've got some garlic powder. And I'm just gonna add about maybe a teaspoon. There we go. And then I've got some onion powder, and you can use your favorite seasonings, or you don't have to use any seasonings at all. Just whatever makes you and your little heart happy. So about a teaspoon of onion powder. And I'm gonna use some black pepper. That looks about like enough. I don't know how I'm gonna write this recipe down for y'all. You may just have to go back and watch it a couple times. And I'm gonna add just a scant, well, not scant, there's probably a half a teaspoon of salt. And on the barbecue rub, I'm gonna use about a good teaspoon of that. So there we go. Alrighty, and then I've got my eggs over here, and they're room temperature. Oh heck, I gotta have my hands in this, y'all. I can't do nothing with that fork and get it done right. You know what I mean? All right, there we go. Now I've got 2 eggs. So crack those in this bowl. And if you're using fewer pieces of meat, you wouldn't have to have 2 whole eggs. But since I'm doing quite a lot, I'm going to use 2 whole eggs. Now I've got just a splash of some water. Put that in there and just get this, let me get hold of this. Get this all mixed up. All right, there we go. Now let's just see how our peanut oil is doing. Not quite yet. Okay, now I had this a good knuckle deep in this pan. Makes me happy. All right, so what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna move that so I don't get it everywhere. I'm going to, let me tell you what we're gonna do, and then I'm gonna turn it off and let the grease get good and hot because I don't want to let these sit. It's getting there, about medium high, what I need it. I don't want these to sit because then the batter will kind of want to fall off, but I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. And I'm just gonna do into the egg, and then into the flour, pat it in there, and then back into the egg. And you can do this ever how you like to do it. And then I'm gonna do it, let it kind of do a little drippage there, and back into the flour. And then when the grease gets hot, I'll put those in there. So let's see what we're doing here. We're almost there. Tell you what I'm gonna do, since we're almost there, I'm gonna move, this is what I do in real life, y'all. I just move all the stuff over and put the one that I've already done right there. So let's just get us another one down here, and we'll roll it through the egg. And when I'm talking to y'all, a lot of times my mouth gets in front of my eye teeth and I can't see what I'm saying. So if you see me dip these out of order, don't be alarmed, and you don't have to say you drip those out of order, but you know, I don't know. If I was scripted, some people do have a script, I don't. I'm just in here cooking and talking. And sometimes we're almost there. Sometimes it just doesn't come out right. Then I go back and edit it and I think, but bless those people's hearts. Are they ever gonna really know what I'm talking about? Oh my gosh. Almost. And someone told me one time I needed to take a match, stick down in my grease, and if it lit, it was hot. That may be a great idea if you were outside, but I don't think I'm gonna do that in the house. I'm not quite sure, you know, what if it blew up? That'd be a bad thing. That would be. So let's just put this in here. And back in the flour. Now you can use whatever kind of flour. If you like White Lily or Hudson Cream or Martha White, whatever y'all like, you can use that. And and this is a really great way that I just used up a lot of gluten-free flours that I like. One gluten-free flour that I do not like at all, zilch, not even, is almond. I don't like it. I don't like how it feels. It takes too much water or too much milk to absorb into it to make it palatable. It's just not my favorite. So I don't use almond flour. I like white rice flour. I like brown rice flour. I like for baking and everything, I like King Arthur or gluten-free or that white gold brand you get there at the Walmarts. That's really pretty good. Okay, I think we're cooking with butter now. So that's my favorites to use. So let's just take that first one we battered, make sure he's still got some stuck to him. He's a big boy, it might take him a while. There we go. And you don't want to overcrowd your pan, and I'm not going to. We'll put about 3 or 4 at a time. And let's do about 4 of these. Okay, and they really won't take much time at all, y'all. And you know what I forgot? Something clean to take these up with. So you hang tight. I'll be right back. I gotta go get a clean utensil because I don't want to double dip. So I'll be right back. All right, we are cooking with butter now. And we are getting good and brown over here. I wish I had an overhead camera so you could see what we're looking like over here. And this is a great thing to do with deer backstrap if you want to do that, or just anything. Heck fire, I think you could fry just about anything to make it good, couldn't you? I think so. Okay. Just a couple of minutes. This does not take long at all. And I'll tell you, if you have a round steak or a pork tenderloin or anything that you want to tenderize, you can take your knife, lay your meat out, and take your knife and really whack it good. Straight, 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 straight. Turn it a quarter, do that again. Not all the way through, and then flip it over and do the same thing. And then you will have a tenderized piece of meat. But this is not needed that. And that'll help it be thinner and help it to cook a little quicker too. And we're almost there. I've got my pan ready here with some parchment paper in the bottom to catch any dripping. Okay, let's see what we think about this over here. Look at that, fast as anything. I'm gonna take this up. See, that did not take no time at all. And the grease is deep enough that I didn't even really have to flip them. Y'all saw that I didn't really do that. And it'll be fine. You can get your grease deep enough, but I don't want to get it too deep because I just hate wasting stuff, y'all. I don't know. I mean, especially now the way groceries are. We're going to put our next ones in here and get those going. Get some more out of here. Okay, we are doing the last one now, and we're almost out of egg, and we're just putting it almost out of flour. So that measured out pretty good, considering we didn't even measure it. So I've got 3 more in there, and then this big boy right here, he may be a little bit too thick, but he will be fine. So if any of these I think are too thick, I'm gonna fry them until they're golden brown, and then when we reheat them for supper, in the air fryer, it'll go ahead and finish cooking, and that will be absolutely super duper fine. So see if we got enough flour for this one right here. We may have to make do right here. Yeah, I think we got it going on. Pretty good, all right. There we go. Okay, now let's get our. Okay, y'all, we are almost ready to eat them up, yum yum. I've got my dipping sauce. And I'm going to put 2 on my plate right here. Just going to get us a bite and see what we think. Y'all, that is delicious. That is so tender. That is full of flavor. That is wonderful. That $10, well, it was like $9.98 or something like that. But I've got, this is 1/3. And look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that one pork loin, we can eat on that forever. So, all right, y'all, this is divine. And we're fixing to sit down at the table. I hear my man hit the back door, And I'll see you next time. I'll put the link on the delicious Burton Brambles website. Y'all, they are the sweetest people. And I also put the link on my cookbook, which I'm tickled that my ebook is actually usable now. So you can go to Amazon.com and type in Kimmy's Southern Cooking Cookbook. It should pop up. And when I get the second one on the ebook, I'll be sure to tell y'all that too. So see y'all next time. Y'all go make yourself the scrumptious. They're so good. Bye, y'all.